fear? What is it? Why do we have it? What good is it? Those are a couple of things that I want to discuss very briefly with you on this video. All of us deal with fear of one type or another sometimes throughout our lives. Others, many of us deal with it all the time, others with it only occasionally. But what really is fear? Now there are probably, hundreds of reasons that people fear things depending on their background, depending on the life experiences that they've gone through, depending on the different situations they find themselves in. But sooner or later, all of us have to deal with some type of fear. Now for those who have had lifelong struggles with fear, that's kind of a different animal than I want to talk about in this video, because that kind of fear is a fear that can only be treated through therapy and probably drugs. I think of the recent passing of Robin Williams, who on the outside seemed to have it all together. He had this wonderful attitude towards life. He was a very giving, caring person, and yet deep inside he had these demons that he was fighting. And for many years he tried to cover that with addictions. A lot of his humor was probably a way of him coping with this fear and this depression. And sooner or later it got hold of him, and he couldn't control it any longer, and it ended up costing him his life. But that's not the kind of fear I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the kind of fear that many of us go through when we're facing new challenges, or we're facing unknown situations, maybe even the fear of meeting new people. Those are common fears that many of us have. And what we need to do is to realize that we often couch fear in this kind of negativity, when really fear is a very positive thing in a lot of ways. The kind of fear that I'm talking about, not the kind of fear that controlled guys like Robin Williams, but I'm talking about just the kind of common everyday fears that we all kind of face from time to time. Because fear, I can say that fear is a positive thing, because our subconscious, one of the main functions of our subconscious mind is to protect us, and fear is one of the ways that the subconscious does, protect us from being hurt. Maybe if when you really think about it, it's the way that our subconscious mind helps us to cope with things from the past that caused us harm. Maybe we grew up in a very negative home where we could never please our parents, and that we never received any kind of positive reinforcement, any kind of way to go kid, nice job kind of thing. I mean, I can, in a way, I can sort of relate to that as well. I had a father who I knew loved me, but emotionally he was never really attached to me or any of my brothers and sisters. And so whenever we did things that were good accomplishments, he was never there to congratulate or to confirm what we did was good. And so we were always constantly struggling to try to please him. Now that's, I think a lot of us suffer from that kind of thing. We wanting to please our parents, and of course our parents are only human. I'm a parent myself. I've made a ton of mistakes with my kids, and so I can't go around blaming my parents for the fact that I have fears in my life. But that's the way the mind, the subconscious mind, protects us from being hurt in the future. So if we can look at fear in that way, then we can kind of reframe that fear when we're facing situations that are new to us, that we're not sure about, that we lack the confidence initially to pursue. Then we can see that this is just a way of protecting ourselves, and that we can overcome that by reframing it and turning it into a positive thing and saying, okay, mind, I know that you're trying to protect me, but I really want to pursue this goal, this challenge, whatever it is, and so I'm not gonna let you, inhibit me from doing that. Now, I mean, that's I don't know if that's the psychological way of dealing with it, but I think that if we can reframe that fear and turn it into something positive, then that can help us to overcome a lot of the fears that we face. This is especially true in the internet marketing business, the entrepreneurship and people wanting to start their own businesses, people wanting to start online businesses. I mean, that was true for me. When I got started a couple of years ago, I was almost paralyzed with fear, not knowing a single thing about how to start a business or even what kind of skills I would need to start a business. And it wasn't until I got involved in the current company that I'm involved in, and they had the products. I mean, they're actually selling the products that helped me to overcome a lot of these fears, because they taught me the skills, the marketing skills, the kind of the technical skills, how to sell, how to generate leads, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I actually began studying that stuff and understanding, what's involved in starting an online business that I was able to overcome a lot of these fears, because now I knew the strategies and the tools that I was going to need, to make myself successful. Now, that doesn't mean that just because I learned these things that it was automatically going to happen. I mean, we have to go out and actually put those things into practice. There's a strategy that the leaders of my company tell us to use all the time, and we have to remind ourselves. I have to remind myself constantly of this. It's learn the skill, put the skill into practice, and then teach it to others. So learn, do, and teach is a common way of helping develop the strategy that's going to help you be successful in anything you do. It doesn't matter if it's a small business, or it's maybe you're an athlete, or you're running for politics. You're going to run for office, or whatever endeavor you're getting involved in. There's always this element of fear, of feeling inadequate, that kind of rises up inside of us. And so by learning these kinds of skills, you can do almost anything you want to do once you've mastered these basic skills. And so what I would like you to do now, if you're involved in some kind of an online or offline entrepreneurial type business, then I want you to click the link below here, and it's going to take you to another page where you're going to be able to access a seminar that's going to be going on August 23rd. That's a Saturday. It's going to be a 6-hour webinar that's going to go through a lot of these basic skills that all of us need to have to be successful in this business. And it's costing a whopping $7 to gain access to this webinar. And it's going to be put on by the guy who's the founder of my business, who's probably, bar none, the most successful recruiter and closer of anybody in this network marketing business. So I would encourage you and beg you to just spend the $7 to get access to this seminar. It's going to be on August 23rd. It's a Saturday. It's going to go from about 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm sure that there'll be some breaks in there, but it's going to be a very intense time of training and helping people who are trying to get started, really helping them to face their fears, and so that they can overcome that and be successful. So whether you're involved in a business, trying to get a business started, maybe you've been in a business for a while and you're not getting the kind of success you want, probably one of the biggest reasons you're not is because of fear, because of a lack of skills and a lack of strategies. So this is going to help you, go miles down the road to be able to do what you want to do in your business. And even if you're not trying to start a business, maybe you're just wanting to learn some life skills that will help you to do whatever you want to do. This is aimed at you as well. So click the link below, and for $7, I mean, this whole seminar is probably worth over $1,000, but it's being given for $7. So don't put it off. Hit the link below and just gain access to this seminar. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.